Hello friends, welcome back. The CPR relationship is one of the powerful way to identify the market sentiment. In fact, it helps us in identifying the trend and also predicting the probable behavior of the market or any of the stock. In this video, I am going to discuss about the CPR relationship and its significance for the daily time frame in identifying the probable behavior of the market. This is very useful, especially for the day trading. I will be also doing the chart analysis with respect to CPR relationship by taking the Developing CPR as well. Do watch this video till the end. If you are not aware about the CPR and pivot points, there are video episodes for you to watch. The links are given in the description below. Friends, a very quick recap of the CPR and pivot point indicator. It is one of the most powerful price action based leading indicator. That is because the indicator values are drawn based on the previous session's high, low and close price of the session. The CPR in fact represents the value area of the market and it is the heartbeat of the market. It is also like a magnet. That is because that's where the maximum value is present. Knowing this information, it is also important to know how the value area or the CPR is moving, whether it is moving upward or whether it is moving downward. So that means it is very important to know the CPR, that is the value area relationship between different sessions or the periods. By the end of the trading day today, we will know the CPR for tomorrow using the Developing CPR indicator. If you are not aware about the Developing CPR indicator, do watch the previous episode. The link is given in the description below. So after knowing the CPR for tomorrow, we will also know the relationship between tomorrow's CPR with respect to today's CPR, whether it is higher value relationship or lower value relationship, etc. This relationship will help us in forecasting the probable behavior of the tomorrow's session. It only provides the bias but not the confirmation. That is because overnight the sentiment can change. The sentiment can be accepted or rejected based on the various factors that happen overnight. So to confirm this sentiment acceptance or rejection, we have to see the opening price of the tomorrow when the market opens along with the close price of today. So that is when we can get a confirmation of the acceptance or rejection of the sentiment. So it is very important to wait for the opening print of tomorrow to get the confirmation of the acceptance or rejection of the sentiment. There are totally 7 types of relationships. We will look at it one by one. Friends, as I mentioned, the 7 relationship that I am going to discuss is mainly for the daily time frame, which is useful for the intraday. One can do the higher time frame CPR relationship analysis such as weekly and monthly as well. The first CPR relationship is the higher value relationship. If you see here, tomorrow's CPR is having a higher value than the today's CPR. So it means there is a bullish sentiment. To confirm this bullish sentiment, we will have to wait for the tomorrow's opening print. Let us assume that the previous session closed above the CPR and the opening print, the opening price opens above the BC or TC. It means that the sentiment has not changed. There is a probability of the continuation of the bullishness. When the opening print opens below the CPR or below the bottom CPR, it can open anywhere near the previous day low or around S1, etc. When that happens, it's a clear indication of there is a change in the sentiment. So that means the bullish sentiment is probably not there. So that is what it indicates. The second type of CPR relationship is the overlapping higher value relationship. If you see here, tomorrow's CPR is higher value, but it is overlapping the today's CPR. It is similar to the first one, but there is a overlap between the two CPRs on the higher side, expecting the sentiment to be moderately bullish. Assuming the same parameters as the first one, when the opening print opens above the BC or TC, the sentiment is expected to continue. That is, moderately bullishness is expected to continue. When the opening print opens below the CPR or below the BC, then there is a change in the sentiment. The moderate bullishness may not continue. The third type of the CPR relationship is the lower value relationship. This happens when the tomorrow's CPR is below the today's CPR. This is the lower value relationship, indicating that the market is having a bearish sentiment. For the bearish sentiment to be confirmed, we will have to wait for opening print of tomorrow. So let us assume that the previous session closes below the CPR and market opens below the CPR, TC or BC. There is no change in the sentiment. So that means there is a probability of continuation of the bearish sentiment. When market opens above the TC, that is above the CPR, there is a drastic change in the sentiment. That means the probability of not a bearish day, not a bearish sentiment. The fourth CPR relationship is the overlapping lower value relationship. This is similar to the third one, but the CPRs are slightly overlapping. So this relationship happens when the tomorrow's CPR is below the today's CPR, but there is a overlap, indicating that there is a moderately bearish sentiment. As usual, we will have to wait for the opening print of tomorrow, and assuming the same parameters, that means previous session close is below the CPR. When opening print opens below the TC or BC, no change in the sentiment and moderately bearish sentiment will continue. When the opening print opens above the TC, there is a drastic change in the sentiment, indicating that the probability of moderately bearish is not there. The fifth CPR relationship is the outside value relationship. This happens when the market trades in a very wide range today, forming the wider CPR for tomorrow, which is covering the today's CPR. So that is why there is an outside value relationship, indicating that the sentiment is a trading range sentiment. To confirm this again, we will have to wait for the opening print. If the market opens around the CPR, there is no change in the sentiment, it may continue to trade in a trading range. But please note that anytime the market can have a breakout in either direction. So we will have to watch during the day whether market continues in the trading range or may have a breakout. The sixth type of CPR relationship is the inside value relationship. This relationship is formed when tomorrow's CPR is completely inside the today's CPR. This happens when the market trades in a very narrow range today, forming the very narrow CPR. This is one of the very important CPR relationship to watch for, because when the market trades in a narrow range, somewhere in upcoming session you can expect some breakout. So to confirm that, we will have to wait for the opening print. When the market opens above or below any of the pivots, that is previous day high or previous day low, S1, R1, then definitely there is a change in the sentiment from trading in a narrow range to a breakout in upside or downside. So that is why these two are in fact a very important CPR relationships to watch out for the breakouts on the either side. The seventh and the last CPR relationship is the unchanged value relationship. This happens when the tomorrow's CPR is exactly matching with the today's CPR. This is one of the a rare relationship that happens, but it happens once in a while. I have seen this. The sentiment here indicates that there is a sideways sentiment. To confirm this, the opening print has to be watched. When the opening print again opens around the CPR, there is no change in the sentiment. The sideways may continue, but anything can happen during the rest of the day, because you can expect again a breakout for this CPR relationship as well. When the opening print confirms by opening above or below any of the pivots such as PDH, PDL, S1, R1, then clearly there is a change in the sentiment and there is going to be a breakout on the upside or downside depending on where it opens. Friends, let us now look at the charts and try to understand the CPR relationships. Here is the NIFTY future chart opened in the TradingView software, and I have already applied two of the indicators that we have discussed in the previous episodes. One is the CPR and pivot point indicator, other one is the Developing CPR. I am recording this video on the end of the trading day on 21st of April 2022. Because I have applied the Developing CPR, there is already a CPR for the next day that is getting displayed here. Let us look at some of the previous days CPR relationships. If you look at here, on most of the days there was the higher value relationship that was getting developed, and NIFTY also went up till 5th of April. On the 5th of April, NIFTY developed a overlapping higher value relationship between 5th and 6th, indicating that there is going to be a mild bullishness continuation. However, when NIFTY opened on the 6th of April below the S1, it rejected the sentiment of mild bullishness, and in fact it traded between S1 and S2, closed below S2, and on the following day also market opened below S1 after developing the lower value relationship. So for the following days, if you see, on most of the days there was the lower value relationship that was getting developed except on the 11th, and NIFTY also came down accordingly. On the 13th, there was the outside value relationship that got developed between 13th and 18th. As I indicated, there is a possibility of a breakout in either side when there is a outside value relationship gets developed. So in fact, the market opened much low around S3 and continue to trade around S3 region. And on the following day also, that is on 20th, also there was a lower value relationship that got developed. However, the opening print on the 20th rejected the bearish sentiment when it opened above the CPR, and it in fact rallied. Again on the 21st, there was the higher value relationship that got developed. In fact, the opening print confirmed the bullish sentiment when it opened around R1, and in fact it rallied today also. Tomorrow CPR is the higher value relationship CPR, indicating that the bullishness may continue. I am expecting the market to open above the CPR and at least a rally up to R1. Similarly, you can do the analysis for Bank Nifty or any other stock. You can see Bank Nifty also developed a higher value relationship and it rallied here, and then it continued to develop a sideways or the lower value relationship, and it was in the downtrend. Today it has developed a higher value relationship. The probability of Bank Nifty to trade above the CPR tomorrow are higher, so we will have to wait and watch for the opening print. You can see Reliance also, most of the time there was the higher value relationship and then there was a sideways. You can see now sideways. You can see now there is a big higher value relationship and a big movement here. The analysis can be done for the higher time frame. Let me go back to Nifty. I'll switch to daily time frame so that we can see the weekly CPRs clearly. If you see here, Nifty movement week on week value, and then it turned bearish. You can see here, after it took the support of monthly S1 here, it has started going up, and then it rejected the monthly R1 for the month of April, and then came back, took the CPR monthly CPR support. Now it has started going up. This is how we can easily analyze the trend of any of the instrument on any time frame using the CPR relationship. A quick summary: the CPR relationship provides a simple and a visual value area movement using which a trend analysis can be done. It can be used for the multi-time frame trend analysis as well. As I mentioned, it only provides the bias but not the confirmation, because the market sentiment can change anytime. We can use this information together with other price action indicators such as chart patterns and candlestick patterns to get more confirmation. Friends, I hope you learned something out of this video. Do consider pressing the like button and also subscribing to this channel if you have not yet. In my next video, I will be discussing about another important concept, that is Virgin CPR. Press the bell icon to get the notifications. Thank you for watching. See you soon.